What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Weeble preferred influencer, and I'm going to ask you, take a couple minutes out of your day, click the link, go open an account, deposit any amount of money. Let's say you deposit $5. I'm sure you've got $5. Let's say you deposit that. You're going to get the free fractional shares. You're going to get up to 5% return on your uninvested money. And it can just sit there and mature. The market's been down. You have a great opportunity in front of you. Get some free shares that might go up in value. And if nothing else, you're going to get up to 5% on the uninvested dollar. And I know whether it's $1 or $5, not a whole lot if it's 5%, but it's still 5% and a great way to get started in the market. But you have to use the link in the pinned comment. Only takes a couple minutes. And I got to say, you guys might have realized I hadn't posted for a couple days. Part of me was waiting. And I'm so amazed at this community. Because when it's time to hype this game, when it's time to promote this game, when it's time to share gameplay pre-release, everybody's all over it. You know, EA's got a list of people that they go to, they've got a list of people they trust, and they're out there showcasing this game for all it's worth. And by the way, anyone that critiques the game during that time frame, you know, they're told, well, it's just the beta. They've got time. So I want to reiterate to you, this game was released on August 15th. It is today, October 10th. In between this, you had the beta, you had a lot of things happen. One of the things that we were sold, and I want you to understand what that means is, when they were promoting this game, one of the things they sold us was defensive back and AI coverage. They actually say that they made some big strides in pass coverage. They added a new defensive back movement type called read steps, slower back pedals, has the players evaluate routes and attack passes differently. They've added crossover movement that allows the defensive back to move at high speeds, impacts agility, controls strafing. But I want you to pay attention to what's highlighted. Based on player feedback, our team worked to eliminate cases where psychic defensive backs would sometimes break on balls they couldn't see. Now defenders must see the ball to break on it. This was common in man coverage and has been redone to be more realistic. We call this, quote, see ball, play ball, end quote, on the dev team. Now, I want you to understand, first and foremost, we've now learned, after the game's release, and after the first patch, this may truly only impact defensive backs, meaning linebackers are not impacted by this. But more importantly, I want you to look at something that a lot of people overlooked in the dev notes. The dev note said that, quote, removed play ball coach adjustment option from the play call screen. And in turn, it also removed it from gameplay. Now, the reason this was done is, according to the developers, the play ball option was not compatible with our new catch tackle technology and had no effect when toggled. It's been removed unless we are able to update the option to be complementary of the new catch tackle system. So at face value, I understand it. If you're telling us that you made some big strides in pass coverage, and one of those strides is that now the AI logic is the defender has to see the ball in his field of vision to react to it, then it really wouldn't make sense for the user to be able to indicate that the defensive back could play the ball that they couldn't see, or the coaching adjustment would have the player play the ball that they would be doing automatically from an AI standpoint. The issue I have is, why did this take until October to remove from the game? And why were certain gamers giving feedback on this when EA is now admitting it wasn't working and never did because it wasn't compatible with the new system? To me, this is one of the biggest exposes EA has ever had happen. So essentially, what they're telling you is, they sold you a game. They sold you a technology. They put it out in a beta. They put it out for the better part of 2 months. They watched people discuss it openly, and not once did they realize that it did not actually work and needed to be removed. They let the play ball option stay adjustable in the coach settings despite the fact that it did nothing. And not one person in the community realized it, recognized it, or discussed it. Now, in my opinion, the reason that is this game, as always, comes down to dice roll animations. And you can't look at this game and make sense of X's and O's football. But this is really the first time I can ever imagine being able to go back and systematically look at something and say, EA claimed to add something, claimed to fix something, claimed to improve something, and then later had to remove something but did not do it from the actual release. So that actually leaves the question, did this game-selling feature get put in during the patch, and you actually didn't have the best version of Madden sold to gamers? Or was this just general incompetence by EA not removing a impacting coaching feature in its game that was doing nothing the entire time? I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know this is an EA-based problem. I do know this is a system that EA constantly has of putting something in the game and it breaking something else that needs to be removed or needs to be fixed or needs to be replaced. And then in some cases, we never hear of these things again. Now, I also, just at the last part of this video, want to transition over because I know a lot of people had talked about this being an issue in the game because some people weren't fully aware that it was removed intentionally and thought that maybe it was just removed in error. The other issue that we are constantly seeing is players that you select during gameplay. So you've got a live play, you're on defense, the pass gets completed, you're going to switch to another player, where as usual, seeing those player selections are more and more inaccurate to the best player available. Now, this is something EA discussed last year. EA came out last year with their most polished, most refined tribute to John Madden. And in that time frame, they talked about having a new system to go through and help you as the user get the best player available. And here we are, months into the release, and it's still not happening. This isn't some small issue. This is a major thing in gameplay. It's literally the player you control. One of Madden's biggest faults is, like all games, you can't control everything on the field, but you need to take control of the best player to have skill matter within the context of the game. And a lot of times you're taking control of those players because they make such irrational decisions. Whether you're trying to correct coverage, whether you're trying to correct pursuit, you usually have a situation where you need to take control of a player and not do anything other than correct what they're doing so they can make a play on the ball or the ball carrier. And the fact that this is still not working, combined with the fact that EA is clearly removing things they knew did not work in the game, says so much about this product and more than I ever could about how broken this game is and how the people that work on it just don't care enough. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching this video. You know when EA can sell you a feature for 3 years, then sell you a new feature that should make it obsolete, and they can't figure it out until over 2 months after the game's release, there is no way that I will not be back in the week with more commentary.